Welcome to the Digital Real Estate Secrets podcast. This is episode 3. We're going to be talking about how much does it actually cost to build a simple passive income generating website. And for those of you that are like, what the heck, if you're new to this channel, whatever, let me just tell you really quick. Let me catch you up to speed with what we're talking about, the business model that we're talking about. It's very simple. And on the last episode, we actually talked about how this is the most simple business model on the internet. Okay, listen to this. We are, just so you guys know, we are building real estate, but instead of doing it in the dirt on the earth, we're doing it online. It's digital real estate. Okay, we're building websites inside or in local niches in local cities, and we're ranking them to the top of Google for certain terms. When you do this, people start calling your website, and those calls are called leads. We take those leads, we talk to a local business owner that actually does the work, we put a deal together, and they pay us every single month, and we just forward the calls, and then we live our lives. That's the entire business model. And so today I want to talk about, like, what does it actually, what is the hard costs to build and to maintain one of these properties? And I think you guys are going to be shocked when I tell you guys, and we're going to go worst case scenario. I'm going to tell you guys what I'm spending, and the lowest, the low end, the high end, everything in between. By the way, today one of the things that I love about this model is the ability to live wherever you want, to travel, to have that laptop lifestyle. Today, I'm actually in Dubai, and I'm going to be here for the next 3 weeks. I've already been here almost a week. And guys, and for those that don't know me, my name is Nick Wood. I've been doing this since 2016. In 2016, I was knocking doors. I was making my money as a commissioned salesperson selling home security systems. And I couldn't even fathom the idea of being able to live anywhere and make any kind of money, much less hundreds of thousands of dollars per month doing this business model. And so whenever I'm, recording a video, or, especially something like this, where I'm like, I'm literally living, this is 8 years ago, I'm living what I envisioned a little bit over 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I'm living it right now. I'm in Dubai. I'm in Dubai by choice because I just wanted to be here. I wanted to have a different environment. I wanted there was no specific reason I have to be here at this time, but I just wanted to change. And so that's the beauty of this model. But I've been doing this for 8 years, guys. I've made all the mistakes in the book. I've literally lost millions of dollars. I could show you my Google Ads accounts to show you the money that I've lost. And I've also made millions of dollars. And when I say made millions of dollars, it's not that I've made millions of dollars teaching this, although I have. I've made millions of dollars doing this model, building simple websites, ranking them on Google, renting them to local business owners. Okay. So back in 2020, it took me about 4 years. I finally figured this stuff out. I connected all the dots. There was a couple things that I thought needed to be changed. They did. I got all that sorted out. And within an 8-month period, I went from $8,000 a month to $100,000 a month. In July of 2020 was our first $100,000 a month, and we have not looked back since. Okay. 2021, we did another 7 figures. And then at the end of 2021, right about this time in, August, it was actually August. I looked at it the other day. August of 2021, I finally decided, because I was getting messages, how are you doing this? How are you making money? I see you, traveling or whatever. And I was part of these groups. People were asking me questions. How are you getting the flat fee deals? And what about this niche? What about that? And what are you saying when they say this? And finally, I'm like, I'm going to put everybody in a Facebook group. And I did that and I put everyone in there, and then I kept growing and growing and growing. And finally, end of November, I decided, you know what? There's a huge demand for this. I'm going to start teaching. And that's when we launched Digital Landlords, which you guys, it's going to be in the show notes if you guys want to check that out. You're going to hear a lot about it. But nonetheless, guys, thank you guys for being here. Also, by the way, one of the things that I'm most proud of is we have got somebody inside of our community, inside of Digital Landlords, that just hit $75,000 per month renting simple websites. And so it's like a dad moment, right? I'm super proud to see my child come to the point where he's threatening to pass what I've done. So anyway, I love that. So guys, let's get into this episode. I'm going to try to keep this very succinct. I'm going to try and keep it tight. I don't want to waste your time. And I just want to give you guys the information. So my goal, my promise to you guys, by the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly what materials, because we're going to use kind of this real estate analogy, right? Because this is digital real estate. What digital materials are required and how much it costs to build a simple, passive income generating website, aka a digital real estate asset, a digital real estate property. And so I want you guys to know, as a side note, that I'm going to be very conservative inside with my figures, and I'm always going to err on giving you guys too high of an amount, because I'd hate for you guys me to tell you that it's $15 to host a website and you find out it's 17, then you're pissed. But if I tell you it's 20 and you find out it's 15, you're excited. So I'm always going to err. I'm going to be a little bit conservative so that never comes back to bite me. Okay. Just so you guys know. Also, the reason that I'm doing this podcast, just so everybody knows, yes, we want to increase awareness. Yes, we want to grow our business. I'm not allergic to money. I'm trying to make money. But the reason that I finally decided to do this is because I wanted to remember the lessons that I've learned doing this business. And I didn't want to forget them. So this is a bit of a journal, a business journal for me. And so, but at the same time, so I'm telling you that, but at the same time, I would greatly appreciate if you guys do like this, to follow, subscribe, and share this episode. You guys have no idea how many people see it if you share it on your story. You push the little share button, put it on your Instagram story. So I really, really appreciate it. And for those of you guys that are like, I don't want to tell anybody about this business model because then it's going to be more saturated. Well, I learned this principle when I was doing door-to-door sales. And that is that it's the laws of marketing. The laws of marketing state that the more familiar a person is with a product or service, the more apt they are to buy. AKA, the more that business owners are familiar with this model, the more apt they are to buy. And I didn't believe it. I was like, you're crazy. And what happened is we would go to these areas, we'd go to these suburbs, right? And we'd sell these alarms. And then the next year we would go back and we would be like, what? We already knocked these neighborhoods. Why would I go back to the same house, right? And there was this guy named Jeff. He was one of our managers, or our regional managers. And he said this quote all the time. And as soon as I changed my mind, I was like, okay, I believe you. And we would go back to these same neighborhoods, to the same people that would tell us no the year before, that had told us no the year before. And these same people would buy, because the whole year they'd been staring at the yard signs of the people that we had sold to. And they became more familiar. And they saw the technicians' vehicles in the neighborhood. And they saw the commercial. And they did this. So guys, for those of you that are thinking, well, if I share this, then it's going to be more saturated, and I don't want anyone else to get into this business model. I promise you that's not the case. The more that business owners know that this is a thing, that they can buy local leads from people like me and you, the more apt they are to buy when you call, okay? That's a fact. So quit having a scarcity mentality, have an abundance mentality, and if you don't mind, and if you would, I would really love if you shared the episode. Okay, here's the plan for the episode, guys. Number one, I'm gonna give you guys the outline, then we're gonna just dive right into it. Number one, guys, is I'm going to touch briefly on the fact that although I'm going to go over the hard costs today, the out-of-pocket costs that you're going to have to incur to build one of these websites and maintain one of these websites, I'm going to let you know there is a way to avoid all of these costs. And I don't want to get you too confused, because we're going to cover it, I think, either in the next episode or 2 episodes from now, but I am going to let you know about that. Then I'm going to give you guys an overview of what digital materials are needed, okay? And then I'm going to give you a breakdown of each of those materials and the hard costs, the low end, the high end, and it's not going to be exact. I'll try to give you exact, but I'll always err on the conservative side, like I said, okay? So we're going to do that. I'm going to go over the exact figures. Then I'm going to just clarify quickly which are recurring, which are one-time, and we're going to then talk about how that compares to physical real estate very briefly. And then I'm going to talk about, at the very end, I'm going to wrap it up by telling you guys and explaining to you guys why most people, even though the costs are what they are, which you guys are going to be shocked, why more people aren't building and building and building and building, why they aren't just building assets when they could, okay? That said, guys, let's dig into this episode and talk about what does it actually cost. So I want to let you guys know that in the future episode, it's either the next one or the one after that. I've got them planned, but I can't remember exactly what order. There is a way that instead of you incurring these costs, instead of me paying for the domain, which is the www, instead of me paying for the tracking number, right? And all these different costs, There is a way that we can go to business owners. We can get them to say yes today to buying our leads today, and we can use their money to build out these properties. It sounds bananas because in regular real estate, it would be a bit difficult to do. It would basically be the same as like going to a renter. This isn't going to make sense, but I'm going to explain how wild it is. It's like, it would be like going to a renter and telling hey, I'm going to be building this property, whatever, and I want you to sign that you're going to rent this from me. And the renter then gives you enough money that you can not only, you have the rental contract in hand, but that money is enough that you can build out the entire cost of the property that you own. It obviously doesn't make sense in physical real estate because a property costs so much, but in digital real estate, it's a fraction of the cost. And that's what's the beauty about the beautiful thing about it. So I want you to know, although I want to cover the hard cost, there is a way that we can avoid those hard costs, which they're negligible when in the grand scheme of things. But I want you guys to get excited for that, because this thing, using other people's money to scale, other people's money to build your portfolio of assets, is what allowed me to scale. It's what allowed me to get to $100,000 per month back in 2020 and haven't looked back since. Okay, so just so you know, that's going to be coming. All right, so guys, let's overview what materials, and again, digital materials. So with a house, you're going to need 2x4s, you're going to need concrete, you're going to need nails, you're going to need insulation, you're going to need windows, You need all these things, right? You're going to need landscaping. This is digital products. This is digital materials. I'm sorry, that we're going to have to do. Now, I want you guys to know that in almost every case, not every case, but in a lot of the cases, there is a free option that you can use. And I'm going to let you guys know when there is, but I'm going to also let you know that most times that free option is not going to be scalable. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of sweat equity. And for the cost, it's better to just pay it and move on, in my opinion. Okay. But if you guys are like, hey, I want to try this model out and I don't want to spend any money, kudos, go do it. Okay. So here's a quick overview of the things you're going to need. This would be the same if we're looking at a house. What do we need? Well, we need windows, we need concrete, we need rebar, we need nails, we need sod, we need rock, whatever. I've never built a house personally. I've built houses, but I've never been the general contractor. So I'm going to lay that out. So here's what you're going to need. Number one is you're going to need a domain. Some of you guys are sitting there going, I don't know what a domain is. Guess what? In 2016, when I got into this business model that has made me literally millions of dollars, I did not know what the word domain meant. Okay. I knew that www. Whatever was the website, but I didn't know that was the domain. So when I say the domain, it's the web address, right? The www. whatever. Okay. So you're going to need one of those. You don't have to have this, but I like to do a privacy protection on it. That way my competitors, they can't go and look it up and be like, oh, this, Nick owns this website or Nick owns this. So that's something you don't have to have. And for the first few websites, I didn't do this. It's very cheap. So I always pay for privacy protection. So that's another thing that you could do. You don't have to do it. Maybe that would be the same as like doing, blown in insulation or some like fancy insulation that I know is going to save me money or headache down the road. But sometimes when you build that first house, you just want to put that cheap stuff in. And then on the next one, you're like, I should have just done that the first time. Maybe that could be kind of the comparable. So you got the domain, the privacy is optional, but for me, it's not because I like to have it. Then you have the hosting, right? Which is actually to keep the website live. Like you can buy the domain, you can buy the www.lasvegasconcrete.com, but you need to make it live. It has to be able to be searched and people have to be able to find it. So you're going to have to pay for something called hosting. Okay. Again, I had no idea what this was. This was new to me. Don't feel left out. If you're like, oh my gosh, I promise you we're almost halfway through already. Okay. Domain, privacy is optional. You need some hosting. You need a tracking phone number, right? We don't want to put our phone number on the website. You can, but I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to field all the calls. And guess what? I want the calls when they come in to be able to be forwarded directly to the business owner so I can remove myself from the entire situation, from the entire equation and just go golf and just go do whatever and not have to worry about fielding calls. So I would not recommend using your own phone number, okay? But you're going to need a tracking phone number. Then you're going to need to put content, the actual words on your website, okay? Then you're going to need to put images on your website. And lastly, I'm going to talk about this briefly, but not to get too much in the weeds, but if the website doesn't rank after doing some basic SEO, you're going to have to start doing something called backlinking, which I might get into a little bit, but it's not that complicated. It's actually very simple. And that's more of like an SEO topic. I just want to make sure to cover everything that you might possibly need. Okay. So that said, that's it, guys. Domain, hosting, tracking phone number, content, images. You might need backlinks. But if you do really good due diligence and really good content, which I go through in my program, and I also talk about inside my free Facebook group and on my YouTube channel, which we'll have links to in the description, then you can eliminate a lot of this stuff, like the backlinks, okay? So that's the raw materials that you need. Now, what do they actually cost? Okay, so let's go through this really quick. I'm somebody that really believes that money loves speed. If something costs me more money, but it saves me time, I'll pay for it. Okay. So I'm going to tell you that some of these things, some of you guys know how to use WordPress. Some of you guys don't. And for those of you that know how to use WordPress, I'm going to tell you some of these costs. You're going to go, no, that's not the right cost because it's much cheaper to do it on WordPress, which is true. And I'm going to just kind of give you this is my advice. People are like, should I learn WordPress? If you already know how to use WordPress right now, and you're good at it and you're fast at it, go learn WordPress or go use WordPress. Okay. Who you use, whether it's Weebly, Wix, GoDaddy, WordPress, who you use to build the website does not matter in the grand scheme of things, because we're talking about local business. Now, there's going to be some nerdy people that are going to be like, yeah, if you use Weebly, it's harder to rank a website. And there's probably a conversation that could be had if you're ranking some national term that, yeah, it's a little bit better to do WordPress because of but for local, which is concrete, tree service, spray foam insulation, fencing in your local city, in a town of 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 people, it does not matter. Okay. So when I give you these figures, those of you that are WordPress nerds, use WordPress. That's good. For me, I didn't know how to use WordPress. I didn't know how to build a website. I didn't know what a domain was. I didn't know what SEO stood for, which, by the way, if you don't, no problem. It stands for search engine optimization. Basically, for us that are like normal people, it means ranking your website in Google, optimizing your website so it ranks when people search for concrete near me. That's it. That's all that search engine optimization is. And there's a set of things that you do. It's not that complicated. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I figured it out. I promise you can figure it out. Okay. So domain. I get mine through GoDaddy. I know there's going to be some nerds and they're going to go, oh, you're on the same server as other people, and for this reason you should be doing it on this. And look, if that's you and you're nerdy like that, which I'm complimenting you, by the way, I hope you don't think I'm being condescending. I wish I was a bit more nerdy, a bit more smart. If we're saying nerdy is smart, then yeah, I wish I was. Then that's fine. Go do you. But for me, I've always used GoDaddy. I buy my domains on GoDaddy every single time. Hundreds of domains inside of GoDaddy. Okay. So if you're brand new, you don't know what to do, just go to GoDaddy, make it easy. I don't make an affiliate. I don't give a crap. It's just easy. To me, it makes sense. I use GoDaddy, and maybe at some future period, I'll change my mind. But right now, and since I started, I've been using GoDaddy. Okay. If you use GoDaddy, sometimes they give like an introductory offer on your first year. But what I just barely asked Francesca, who is like our project manager, she basically runs everything now. And she told me that we pay $23.98 per year. So 24 bucks or $199 per month. So the first year, I think they give it to you a little bit cheaper. It might be like 12 bucks or 14 bucks for that first year. And then every year after, basically it's $2 a month, or you just pay for it. It's 24 bucks. Okay. It's 24 bucks for the year. Done. Okay. Got your domain. Privacy, if you want to do privacy, it's going to range, at least on GoDaddy, anywhere from $9.99 to $14.99. And for some reason that there's some variables there. I don't personally go in and buy domains anymore because I have a team that does it, has access to my GoDaddy that I trust, that they can make purchases on my behalf. But every time I've bought a domain, it's been $9.99. Okay. For the privacy, not for the domain, for the privacy. So we're at 24 bucks for the domain for the whole entire year. Okay. Again, it's cheaper the first year, but let's just go worst case scenario. So 24 bucks. Let's make it 25. Just make it easy. Okay. We got 25 bucks for the domain. Let's add the privacy in there. Let's call it, 15 bucks. So now we're at 40 bucks. Okay. Now we got domain, we got privacy. Now we're going to need hosting. And we're going to need hosting that's going to keep the site, and we're just going to make it so people can actually view it. People can actually go to it. It's not just something that we're building, but it's something that's live on the interwebs. Okay. Hosting. I use Weebly. Okay. So I know some of you WordPress nerds are like, oh, I only spend a couple bucks on hosting or 30 cents. And that's great. That's awesome. And if you know WordPress, use it. I don't care. For me, I don't know WordPress. And the people that I've hired didn't know WordPress. I trained them on it. I use Weebly, okay? And for those of you that are brand new to this, use something that's easy. Weebly, Wix, Squarespace, whatever. For me, hosting, and I know mine's going to be the most expensive out there, so it's good because I'm going to be able to give you the most expensive. My hosting is 15 bucks a month. And we're on some kind of account where it's like a agency account. I don't know. We pay 15 bucks a site. Okay, but you can do this other one that's called Web Pro. It's like 30 bucks a month flat. So again, we're going to take worst case scenario. Let's say that each website costs you 30 bucks per month to do hosting, which by the way, we don't pay that, but I'm just going to use worst case scenarios. Okay. So we got the 25 bucks for the domain. We've got the privacy, which I'm going to include as a must. That's makes it 40, right? So 15 plus 25, we're at 40 bucks for that. Then we're going to add the hosting, which is going to be, let's call it 30, which I've never spent 30, but I just want to do worst case 30. So we're at $70. Okay. Then we're going to need a tracking phone number, right? And the cool part is you guys can actually get tracking phone numbers that match the area code, whether you're in Vegas and do a 702 number, whether you're in Hollywood and do a 404. By the way, don't go into California. I have a video on YouTube about that. I avoid California like the plague in terms of local lead generation. Another discussion for another day. Whatever it is, you can get numbers in the area you want to get them. But to get a tracking number that's going to do call recording, that's going to do call forwarding, that's going to do whisper messages. We talk about all this in the program. Well, I talk about this inside of the free group. To do all that functionality, I pay an average of like 10 bucks a month. Okay. Now I use CallRail for all my stuff. Well, not for all of it, for like 80%. And then Twilio, which I use for some of my other stuff. And I'm kind of going more towards Twilio, which is a bit more complicated to set up, but it is cheaper. For you guys that are new, just use something easy. CallRail's very easy. I think they do a deal where it's like, I don't know, 50, 100 bucks. And I can even look right now. Here, let me look. How much is CallRail? How much is a tracking number with CallRail? We have a lot of numbers, right? So my cost is probably gonna be a little bit less. I don't even see. If I can't find this on the next click, I am going. Okay, it says view prices. Hold on. Give me 10 seconds here. All right, so pricing on call tracking says 45 bucks a month for 5 local numbers. Called it. Okay, 10 bucks a number. Okay, so that's what I pay. I pay 10 bucks a number. I think it can be cheaper if you get in more bulk, and we might be paying a little cheaper, but 10 bucks is a pretty safe option for that. Okay, now we're at 80 bucks. The only other thing that we need, guys, is our content and our images. Okay. Now, content, when I say content, I'm talking about the actual words on your website. It is important. It is something that needs to be done. It needs to be done properly. You need to have keywords in it and all this different stuff. Again, it's not as complicated as it sounds, but I'm letting you guys know, if you were to go and build one of these things, and you were gonna like, hey, I'm gonna hire somebody to write my content, because it's a very painful part of the process, maybe the most painful. But if you were gonna hire somebody to actually write the content for your website, then that's gonna cost you money. For me, for my first 30 websites, and I would recommend for you, for your first 1 to 5 to 10, you should be writing the content. Why? Because if you don't know how to write content, how are you going to train somebody? How are you going to outsource the content writing? How are you going to know what's good content, what's not good content? How are you going to know when the content comes back, oh my gosh, this is really bad, this is really spammy, this isn't going to do good for the Google algorithm? How are you going to know if you haven't written it yourself? So I'm not going to include that as a cost, because you shouldn't be hiring that out until you know how to do it. Okay. That's just the facts. I wrote my first 30 websites worth of content. My average website has about 10,000 words of content on it. Okay. That might sound like a lot to you, but for me, I think content is where you can really, really, really win in the search results, really, really win with ranking. So I put 10,000 words of content on each of my websites. So my first 30 websites, guys, I wrote 300,000 words of content before I found somebody to write it. And guess what? Once I wrote 300,000 words, I knew really well when content came across my desk that somebody else wrote that was crap, that was plagiarized, how you say it? That was sniped, that was, you know, whatever, spun, whatever, you know, and now we have the AI, whatever. Guys, we still write content manually. We just do. And right now, I'm still not sold on writing content with AI. I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but content is another thing that you're going to need. It's not going to cost you anything. It's going to cost you your time. Okay. The last thing you're going to need is you're going to need images, which are, you know, let's say you're doing a concrete website. You're going to need pictures of some guys on a job site, picture of a driveway, picture of this. We get all of our images for free. There's different tools out there. There's Pexels.com. There's, I think, Pixlr, Pixlr.com. But what we do, because I actually get people to give me money to build out my assets, which we're going to cover in a future episode. I hope you guys are excited for that. We get the deal. And then we tell the business owner, as part of the deal, you need to provide us with 15 to 20 images from your jobs that are not currently on your website, because I don't want to have the same images that he's got on his website. So I need new, unique images. And I'll even offer, if it's in my local backyard, we've gone to job sites. I've sent Francesca, and she's taken a camera, taken her phone, and taken photos while they're on a job. So we get our images for free, whether it's from a free resource like Pexels.com, Pexels.com, Pixlr, Pixlr.com, or we go and do it ourselves. Now, you can also pay for like Getty Images. You could pay for, I can't think of any of the other ones, and those are good options as well. But I never pay for images because it just doesn't make sense, because I have a client already. Why don't I just make them give me images as part of my deal? Makes total sense, right? So guys, that's it. Now, the whole backlinking thing, we do that for free, so I'm not even going to get into that. Some people pay for backlinks, which that's a whole nother conversation if that's white hat, whatever. But so guys, we have the domain, 25 bucks. Okay. We have the privacy, 15 bucks. We're at 40 bucks. We're at the hosting. We're going to say 30. It ain't 30. It's 15. But I'm going to put 30 just so that you guys, just at worst case. So we're at 70. Okay. And then you got the tracking number, which is 10 bucks. So all in to build a website with a little bit of sweat equity, you are less than $100. You are $80, which I believe is probably closer to 65, because it's actually probably closer to 50, because I'm being very conservative on all of my numbers. Like, I think that I'm getting my domain for, not my domain, my privacy, I think it's only 10, and I said 15. I definitely am not paying 30. I'm paying 15. So that's another 20 bucks. I think I'm around 60 bucks to build a website. Okay. All in. Now, yes, I have to write the content. Yes, I have the hours, the times put in, but all in less than $100. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Guys, if you can take one of these websites and go make $1,000 a month, even if that person only stayed with you for 6 months and you made $6,000, what's the freaking cash on cash return? Which is, how much money did you put in? How much money did you get from that? And what kind of a return did you get on that $100 that you spent? It's ridiculous. It's hard to calculate. It's so good, right? Imagine, it's crazy. Less than $100 to build one of these websites. And I'm being very conservative. For those of you that are a little like WordPress ninjas, you guys are probably pumping these things out for like 30 bucks. Okay. Now, yes, as you get bigger, as you scale, you're going to get somebody that writes content, or you're going to pay somebody to write, 1,000 words here, 1,000 words there, and it's going to cost you money. You're going to get somebody to build the website, and they're going to, be hourly or per project, whatever. But when you're doing your first 5, 10, 15 projects, it literally costs you less than $100 of actual cash plus your time. That is crazy when you really think about it. When you think about the fact that I've shown you guys, if you guys go to my YouTube channel, I've shown real life examples. If you're in my Facebook group, real life examples of my projects, websites, and I've shown you my Stripe accounts, clients that have paid me over $50,000. Over 50. I have one client that's paid me $127,000. $127,000. By the way, that's in gutter installation, because I know everyone's wondering. Okay. $50,000 for $100 investment. That is freaking ridiculous and exciting. And why the heck are you guys not doing this yet? Okay. So of those costs, guys, the domain, that is going to be yearly. So if you're going to do like a monthly, that's going to be $2 a month. The privacy is going to be yearly. That's $1 a month, right? Let's say 10 bucks. So you're at $3 a month. The hosting, that's going to be yearly. So let's say 15, that's another, let's call it $2 a month. So we're at $5 a month. And then your tracking phone number is $10 a month. So you're at $15 a month. So you are paying to keep one of these websites live and running. You are paying less than $20. Your ongoing recurring costs is less than $20 per month. That is crazy. Less than $20 per month. And you have an asset. Now, you have to know what to put on the website. You have to know what content to write. You have to know which city to go into, which niche to go into, which images, how you structure the website. Yes. By the way, all stuff that we cover inside the program, some of which we cover, on the YouTube channel and in the Facebook group. But the actual hard cost, less than $100 to build, less than $20 a month to maintain. That is actually stupid. Okay, that is actually stupid. Let's compare this really quickly as we wrap up to physical real estate. I bought a few physical real estate properties. I don't have a ton. I'm not some Sam Zell magnate here. I have two houses. I have a house and a townhome. It's actually detached, but it is technically a townhome. And I've got 3 commercial properties. I'm partners with, 2 I own outright. By myself, office space on all 3 of the commercial properties. I'm telling you this because I know what it costs. Okay, just to do closing costs, just to do freaking title work, going and signing with my buddy McCray. By the way, if you guys are in Southern Utah, I got a really good referral for you for somebody that does title. Okay, which I'm guessing some of you guys are, some of you are not. It costs me more to go sign documents on the title than it does to build an entire property. That is crazy. And what's bananas, guys? What's bananas? Let me use my most recent property I bought a townhome end of 2022, last day of the year, all for tax purposes. I paid $415,000 for this property, which is actually cheaper than it is now. I paid $415,000 and let's see, I actually paid cash for that, but then I refied out and I kept, let's say 20% in. So it cost me $80,000 down to get this property. Plus I had my title, plus I had my closing costs, plus I had my commissions for my real estate agent, plus I had to furnish it. As you can see, I probably spent, by the time everything was said and done, $100,000. Now, I don't actually rent this property out. I have one of my employees that actually lives there, and I also use it when family comes to town, whatever. But I've looked at the market, and right now, my mortgage, based on my interest rate, which was not bad, it's not near what it is now, it's about $2,100 that I'm paying for this thing, okay, per month. And I did, 20% down, $80,000. So I'm $80,000 plus my furniture and everything. I'm $100,000 into this. It costs about $2,100 a month, okay? And here's the crazy part. If I were to rent this out right now, the average rent for these townhomes that I've got is about $2,200 per month, okay? I haven't included my electricity costs. I haven't included my gas. I haven't included my water. Guys, I don't make any money on this thing. Let's say I get lucky and I find somebody that's willing to pay me $2,500. And let's say that I'm making, it only costs me $2,300 with everything, which isn't true. I'm making $200 a month on that sucker. That's $2,500 coming in, my bank note and everything else being $2,300. I'm barely making $200, and it cost me $100,000 to get into this thing. On the flip side, I could build a website, I could build a project, I could build an asset for less than $100 and maintain it $20 a month. And this thing can make me $500, $750, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. I've got one client paying me $3,000 per month. That's the one that's the gutter installation for $100 freaking investment. So guys, to wrap this thing up, why are people not building more assets? Why are more people not in this business model? Why are more people not freaking jumping in and building out a portfolio? Why does every single person not have 100 of these? If they're $100, why not go build 100? What a better use of $10,000? Why don't people do that? Well, this is my opinion. I've got a lot of opinions, but I think that the problem is even though the cost is negligible, people are just they're just, I don't know, they're just lazy. I don't know. And this really was reaffirmed to me this week. Labor Day, we always, inside of our free Facebook group, we have a live training that we do on Mondays. Okay. And I cover all kinds of different topics. You only get access to it if you get the link, and we give the link to a certain amount of people. So we always have 20 to 30 people. It's just me one-on-one coaching these people. So Monday we do this. I've got this entire thing planned. I spent about an hour preparing for this lecture slash presentation. And I jump on the call, and there's 2 people on the call. Okay, there's usually 25, 30, I guess sometimes 20, 2 people on the call. And I'm like, dude, I think I have the wrong link. And I text my team and I'm like, what the heck? They're like, that's the right link. 2 people. I'm like, oh, it's Labor Day. It's like, dude, it's Labor Day. But at the same time, the thing that I don't understand is that, in our Facebook group, we have 6,000 people, and all of them are complaining, and all of them want to be in a different spot in life. All of them. All of them want to be, otherwise they wouldn't be in there. Why would you be in that group unless you wanted to, make extra money? And there's 2 people on this call. And I was like, okay, well, that's why. So the truth is, guys, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that don't know about this model. I think there's a lot of people that think that it's way more expensive to get this model. Now, obviously, there's some knowledge that you need to learn, which you can either go and learn by sweat equity in your time. You can go and watch my 1,850 YouTube videos at this, I think around there, that I've uploaded, which would take you years. You can consume every drop of content in my Facebook group, or you could go pay for knowledge, which is what we do in our program. But either way, you do have to acquire the knowledge, right? Because otherwise you're kind of throwing mud against the wall. But outside of that, we're talking about $100, guys. $100 to build a potentially passive income cash flowing asset with a $20 per month recurring cost to maintain it. I don't understand. Okay, guys, just want to let you guys know, once again, appreciate you being on the episode. We're going to be doing these every single week. Next week, I think it's next week, we're going to be talking about how you can actually get business owners to pay you to build your own property, and they will still rent it out, and they will give you their contract. They will give you their credit card. They will sign a contract. That's something that I've mastered. That's something that allowed me to scale. Okay. If you guys like this episode, I beg. That's something that they say when I'm in Sierra Leone. So I don't know, that just came out. That means please. I'm not going to beg, but please, if you guys got value out of this episode, you enjoyed it, subscribe, follow, I don't know, whatever it is that you do, and share it on your story, share it with a friend, share it with somebody that might be interested in it. That would mean the world to me. Give me a review. If you guys do leave a review and you screenshot it and send me a DM, I'll send you guys some swag. I really appreciate that. Okay. Guys, once again, remember, the laws of marketing state that the more familiar a person is with a product or service, the more apt they are to buy. So those of you that are scared to share this because, oh my gosh, somebody else might get into this business and it's going to be saturated, I'm going to keep it my little secret. No, I want everyone to know about this. I want every business owner to know this is an option, because it's going to increase the likelihood that they're going to buy from me. So guys, with that said, don't forget to join our free Facebook group. We have a free Discord channel. You can also get my free mini course at rentsimplesites.com, which we're going to include in the description. And then for those of you that know that time is the only thing that you can't buy more of, it's the only thing that you can't get back. It's the most valuable asset that we actually have. You guys can apply in the description for Digital Landlords, where we have our A to Z, soup to nuts, how to do everything. That's our program. That's what I started back in 2021. And that is our student doing over $75,000, is doing $75,000 per month. That is by application only. And that is going to give you the entire process. Guys, I appreciate you being on this episode. And remember, sorry about that, money loves speed. I'll see you guys on the next episode. I'm out.